Brodes Media.
Yeah, they might be back, baby. They might be back. Context matters, though. Let's not call me foolish. Let's not call me an obnoxious asshole just yet. There's a reason why I feel they could be back. It's not just because they beat Washington or they won a game against Miami. It's what happened in the game and how they won. Not only do you get a Kyle Schwarber grand slam a game ago, you follow that up with the Weston Wilson cycle. A fucking cycle. That matters. These are moments. Sure, you're in a great position when you play a dumpster fire Washington team. When Zach Wheeler grabs the ball and you can go 6 innings, 1 earned run, and toss it off to someone else when you have a bajillion run lead. But the way it's happening, there's a real big momentum shift that's happening inside the clubhouse walls. And if you don't feel it, you're just being a hater. Trey Turner, after being removed from the lineup, gets a couple of hits and a couple of RBI. Bryce Harper on base 4 times. Now, one of them happened to be an error, but he was walked. He had a couple of hits. He also helped tack on some runs. You started the game off with the 3-run blast from Alec Boehm. Nick Castellanos follows it up with the solo shot. Rojas is out there being a damn machine at the bottom of the lineup. Everybody's contributing, tacking on runs, blowing the game out of proportion. This team hasn't been able to do that in quite some time. And of course, the 4 hits from a right-handed bat in Wilson that's taken it to right field all game long. This dude's going the other way. And this is after a Miami game where it looked as if a lot of the fellas were going the other way with it. And that's right after they popped up 1,000 times in the loss to Miami. So I'm starting to see a shift. Am I being blinded through the red glasses? All right? The red pinstripe glasses. And I feel completely different when we watch them play Atlanta, when we watch them play Kansas City. Maybe. But you know the number one rule here. I let you know how I feel. And if I pretended that I wasn't feeling something after these 2 games, a Kyle Schwarber grand slam and a Weston Wilson cycle, these are moments that do inspire teams. I'll say it again. I'm not only throwing around a 3rd inning single that knocked in a run and hoping that's what made this team feel good again. These are obnoxious ways to perform. This is Citizens Bank Park. If it had a roof, the roof would be blown off because of how loud everybody is in there. You're grabbing the attention of the fans again. It's starting to form again. You're pouring on runs, and I can't ask for much more right now. What a dub. What a damn dub. Yeah, the Nationals are funny to laugh at. Yeah, they're a disgrace with whatever you want to call some of the plays, defensive, whatever it is. I mean, they're just trash. But I've watched the Phillies play down to that competition lately. And not only play down to bad teams' competition, but somehow play even worse. So I got this message on Twitter when I said we were due for a laugher. this specific person can't really move forward because it's another Zach Wheeler effort. And it's what can they do when Zach Wheeler's not throwing? Christopher Sanchez doesn't look the same. Taijuan Walker stinks. Tyler Phillips isn't a complete game shutout type of dude. Right? There's a lot of concerns when it's not Wheeler. And that's fair. That's fair. But this offense has been dead. What I've seen lately in the last 2 wins is something that really defined who they were for a while this season. And they would blow you out so much, and they would tack on runs through the 6th, through the 7th, through the 8th, where you can't survive. And they would beat up on bad teams. And we'll see if this actually carries into the next road trip when they leave Citizens Bank Park. And ultimately, that will matter. But it's been so long since I felt this team like this that instead of poo-pooing it for 2 nights, so be it. I'm going to soak in it. All right? I'm going to lather myself up in all this greatness. Because it reminds me of the team that I fell in love with when I said they had an it factor about them. So even though it was Wheeler, I get it. I get it. Yes, more times than not, you're going to win a baseball game with Wheeler, especially if your offense starts to rake the way they did. And I need Aaron Nola to step up and not allow a bunch of home runs to Washington tomorrow. You know, and yeah, we're having a very similar conversation that we're having now as we did at the end of the Diamondback series. Look at the way you're lined up with Wheeler, with Nola, with Sanchez. And there's a difference in competition level with how hot the Diamondbacks were and who the Nationals are. I get it. I get it. But I'm not going to allow, and as bad as it was, but I'm not going to allow one of my last hopes here at turning the page to be destroyed. And I stand by that. And the reason why I stand by that is how crazy and absurd these moments truly are that we're talking about. I just want to make sure that's highlighted here. What Kyle and Wilson did was special. It does have the ability to potentially really spark the club. These aren't little, tiny, little pockets of adrenaline. This is overwhelming amount of adrenaline. And the rest of the team seems to be following suit. Whether it's Rojas, I'm even starting to wonder if Rojas, am I talking myself into Rojas being competent at the plate in the postseason? Maybe, but that's a game changer. I thought there was a huge hole where the last guy in your lineup is basically 3 outs. If he gets 3 at-bats and he's so incompetent that he's 3 outs, you're essentially throwing away an inning in a playoff game. 3 outs, an inning. If he's hitting 0.80, 0.90, 0.68, 0.72, whatever the hell it was last postseason. If his speed could be a threat and he puts a ball in play and he passes it back up to the top of the lineup and now Kyle Schwarber can come up to the dish with bases loaded, maybe there's reasons to believe that that can happen now. Because he's been busting his ass every day since they kicked him down to the minors and said, reboot yourself. And I don't know if I'm just being swayed because Brandon Marsh stinks because Austin Hayes isn't healthy, but I've been saying it jokingly, to be fair, but yo, Wilson might have some pop. Brandon Marsh has been unplayable. If you can fill that role with someone that can actually deliver, not cycles consistently, but if someone can actually make damn contact, and when he does square it up and put the ball in the gap or put the ball over the wall, hit extra base hits, I think Weston Wilson can do that. I truly do. changes who the Phillies are. And if Sosa could get in the lineup more, if Stott's struggling, maybe you platoon that. Maybe second base is the platoon. I never thought we would want that. Okay? I always thought I wanted Stott to play every day. I thought I wanted Marsh to play every day. But they haven't been good enough. So if Sosa could be a right-handed bat in the infield for you, so Stott doesn't have to face lefties. If Wilson could play for Brandon Marsh and be a right-handed bat, and they contribute, then your 5, 6, 7, 8 in the order is in a black hole. And it's been a black hole forever. It's been deflating when they've been at the plate and getting overwhelmed and overmatched almost for, 3 months? 2.5 months? So just something to think about on why maybe it could be different moving forward.